things may be even working out a little bit better. I think I have the audio about 80% correct. It should be a vast improvement from last week, and a few other improvements as well throughout, maybe not tonight, but throughout the week. We're just about to get it all worked out. Thank you so much for being with us. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Got a lot to cover before we leave you for the rest of this evening. Weather-wise, we've got a little bit of everything. I think there's a well, it definitely has some shower chances, warmer air. There's some flakes in there as well. It's Kentucky weather, and it's going to be a bit back and forth, but the majority of it's going to be on the milder side. We've got a couple of really nice days to round out the work week, and maybe not too terrible of a weekend. Now, if you're watching, of course, this program as it airs on Howard's Cable and on Foothills Communication, Howard's Cable has been yet to get the last connection made that will allow us to push our signal out of here as we do every weeknight at 6 o'clock, but last night they made some headway and just about got that done, and I was hopeful that it would be done tonight, as were they, but by tomorrow night the show should be back at 6 and 11 on Howard's Cable here, and forever, we believe, from here, from our new location. Magafa County Fiscal Court audit was released today by the state auditor. I've got indictments from the Johnson County Grand Jury, sexual abuse, vast accounts of drug-related crimes alleged. A Magafa County man indicted in those as well. Structure fire, not once but twice, at least twice this morning in Sagersville. Some other arrests and related news, and we'll start right now with our first headline, and that being the following indictments, which were returned by the sitting grand jury in Johnson County just last week. I brought you a portion of those, as those were the ones that were involved in last week's roundup conducted by the Johnson County Sheriff's Department. That story, as you hopefully were here for, culminated after about an 18-month long investigation, and it involved several individuals, I believe 8 or 9 individuals. However, while those are referred to tonight, briefly there are several other indictments to add to those that were returned last week. Holly Wells of Offutt, Kentucky was indicted on account of criminal mischief in the first degree, actually 3 separate counts of criminal mischief in the third, for causing thousands of dollars worth of damages to property owned by Deonna Lackey of Williamsport, Kentucky. On one occasion, $2,600 to an automobile, on another occasion, $1,800 to a garage, and on another occasion, more than $1,000 in damages to the home of the victim. Karen Lackey of Staffordsville was indicted on account of possession of a controlled substance in the first degree, possession of paraphernalia, and public intoxication. The Johnson County Grand Jury alleges that on or around August the 26th of 2017, she was in possession of methamphetamine, an altered glass pipe, and an altered writing pen containing chemical residue upon being arrested. 2 people were indicted in complicity with each other. Don Ferguson of Whitensville indicted on possession of a controlled substance in the first, possession of paraphernalia, license to be in possession, and failure to maintain insurance. The grand jury charges that on or around September the 26th of 2017, she was found to be in possession of methamphetamine, baggies, spoons, syringes used for the ingestion or sale of drugs, and operating a motor vehicle without being in possession of her operator's license and not having the required insurance. Her bond was set at $5,000, while Kenneth Litchfield of South Carolina was indicted on the same possession of methamphetamine charges and possession of drug paraphernalia charges. He also was indicted on a count of resisting arrest and disorderly conduct in the second degree for using physical force against the police officers. Kayla Blackburn Prater of Mealy was indicted on escape in the second and theft by unlawful taking over $500. On December the 18th of last year, she escaped the custody of her home incarceration, as was set by her bond, when she left her home without permission, also taking with her her ankle monitoring bracelet valued at over $500. Charged in complicity with each other for manufacturing methamphetamine, Amber Steele Harless of Williamsport. On August the 17th, she was said to have been in possession of 2 or more of the chemicals or items and equipment used to manufacture methamphetamine. Her bond was set at $20,000, while Andrew Dusty Harless of Williamsport was also indicted on manufacturing methamphetamine for the same alleged crimes, as well as public intoxication. Bobby Laney of Williamsport was ordered held on a $15,000 bond, as Kelly Keel was ordered held on a $5,000 bond. They were said to have been in complicity with each other on burglary of a Johnson County residence. Laney was charged with burglary in the second degree, being a persistent felony offender in the first, and possession of a controlled substance. He had entered a residence with the intent of committing a crime, that residence owned by Mr. Todd Mead of the Highlands Apartments. Kelly Keel of Paintsville was indicted on burglary in the second and possession of a controlled substance in the first, while Laney was indicted for being a persistent felony offender in the first degree because he had 2 prior felonies against him. Elbert O'Brien of Paintsville was indicted for trafficking in a controlled substance in the first, for trafficking in 40 dosage units of oxycodone on or around May the 25th of 2015. His bond was set at $10,000. While these 2 relatives by marriage, I am told, were 2 of those involved in last week's roundup done by the Johnson County Sheriff's Department, Glenda Kimbler of West Van Leer was actually named in 2 separate indictments, one for trafficking in a controlled substance in the first, and for trafficking in a controlled substance within 1,000 feet of a school. She was said to have sold undercover informants or officers some 20 units of oxycodone on one occasion and ordered held on a $10,000 bond on that one. And then in a second indictment, she was named for trafficking in controlled substance in the first and within 1,000 feet of a school as well, for trafficking in 15 dosages units of Oxycontin or oxycodone. While Tony Kimbler of Paintsville was indicted on a charge of trafficking in a controlled substance in the second degree first offense, he reportedly sold some 8 dosage units of hydrocodone to an undercover officer or informant. William Ed Gorman of Paintsville was another one involved in last week's roundup. He was charged with trafficking in a controlled substance in the second degree. He reportedly sold 9 hydrocodone to undercover authorities or an informant. He was ordered held on a $5,000 bond. Delbert Gilbert of Hager Hill, indicted on trafficking in a controlled substance in the first degree for selling less than 2 grams of methamphetamine. Ned Davis of Lomansville was indicted on account of trafficking in the first degree for over 2 grams of methamphetamine and being a persistent felony offender in the second degree. He reportedly sold some 13.13 grams of methamphetamine and had a prior felony on his record. 2 individuals were charged with being in complicity with each other and trafficking in drugs. Christy M. Parsons of Paintsville, she was indicted on trafficking in the first, trafficking in a controlled substance within 1,000 feet of a school, and being a persistent felony offender in the second. She and Winford J. Tackett reportedly sold less than 10 dosage units of Suboxone, a Schedule III narcotic, within 1,000 feet of a school. As for Parsons, she had a prior felony on her record, thus being charged with being a persistent felony offender in the second. Winford J. Tackett of Paintsville was indicted on the trafficking charge for the same sale of the Suboxone and selling it within 1,000 feet of a school. A Boones Camp man is facing serious sex crimes, charges of sodomy in the first degree. The victim under the age of 12, and this is 2 separate counts. The grand jury charges that on or before January the 1st of 2017 in Johnson County, Kyle M. Harless committed the offense of sodomy, engaging with a victim under the age of 12. They allege 2 separate occasions that it occurred in the month of December of 2016. His bond was set at $50,000. Jeff F. Griffith of Paintsville was indicted on possession in the first, possession of a controlled substance in the third, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Around October the 3rd of 2017, he was in possession of methamphetamine, altered straws to use or ingest the drug, and possession of clonazepam, a Schedule IV controlled substance as well. 2 women were said to be in complicity with each other in regards to promoting contraband in the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center. The indictment doesn't list what type of contraband it was, but does say that Jessica McCoy of Tomahawk and Tiffany Meadows of Mount Sterling have both been charged. Meadows charged with as well being a persistent felony offender in the second degree for having a prior felony. Geneva McGinnis of DeBoard, promoting contraband in the first degree. Michael Havens of Mize, Kentucky, promoting contraband in the first degree to the Big Sandy Jail. And a McGoffin County man indicted for the escape of a jailer, the McGoffin County jailer, back on November the 29th. Jeremy Arnott of Sagersville, indicted on escape in the second degree. Now, that's a Class D felony and carries a penalty up to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000. And for being a persistent felony offender in the first degree, You may recall we covered a report on that same day in which he had escaped the custody of McGoffin County jailer Brian Montgomery while being an inmate at the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center. He also has 2 prior felonies on his record. Thus, he is also being indicted on being a persistent felony offender in the first. Arnett's bond was set at $15,000.
We are all human. Because we're not perfect, we tend to make mistakes. Unfortunately, some mistakes are severe and carry more consequences than others. If you have been hurt in a car wreck, a truck wreck, or because of someone's mistake, reckless or careless behavior, you deserve help with your medical expenses, lost wages, and serious permanent pain and injuries that you have been made to suffer and will continue to suffer for the rest of your life. If you have been injured, I can help. I'm attorney Don Wayne McFarland. Call me and let me go to work for you. 349-9000.
A new inventory perfect for the season at Parkway Gun and Pawn. Gas and electric space heaters, chainsaws to make your own heat, battery chargers, generators, snow blowers, and everything you need for the winter. And of course, jewelry, guns, games, TVs, electronics, and more. And of course, they'll loan you cash on anything worth $1 at Parkway Gun and Pawn. 349-PAWN. Wanting you to have a healthier life means providing access to quality, affordable health care. And to do exactly that, Hope Family Medical Center offers full dental care with Dr. Pratt and his team, a pediatrician team of 3 doctors and nurses and moms, complete health care by family physician Dr. Kelly Pratt and nurse practitioners Mildred Sizemore, Gail Faria, Shannon Conley, and Heather Blair. Behavioral health services with Kimberly Davis, with in-house lab testing and results, in-house x-ray and pharmacy, and all the caring, knowledge, and experience that these medical professionals represent
at Hope Family Medical Center.
Like our 100% safe and secure mobile banking app at Sayersville National, we're always working to make your life a little easier. And our mobile deposit feature gives you more freedom and more time to do what you love the most. Just open the app, confirm the amount, and click. You're done. A safe, no-hassle way to manage your money from anywhere in the... Well, you get the drift. Now get the app at Sayersville National Bank. 349-3131. At last report, the flu was widespread in at least 46 of 50 states, and Parkway Pharmacy has exactly what we all need to fight it and any other cold or illness. From immune boosters for adults and children as young as 2 to all-natural homeopathics made right here in the United States of America. They can help prevent you from getting sick or get you fast relief if you already are. With great tasting and easy-taking gummies, powdered mixes, rapid melting fruity tablets, and syrups at Parkway Pharmacy. Don't let yourself or your loved ones ride around on tires that are unsafe, old, and worn out. Get a new set today out of the thousands and thousands in stock and ready to go with 6 months same as cash with the latest rebates from the greatest manufacturers, all at one place that you've trusted for over 30 years. Conley Tire in Staffordsville. Get the max with your taxes and a new car at Gateway Motors. All you have to do is take your W-2 to Borders Tax Services here in Sayersville and then go straight to buy your new ride at Gateway. You'll get your taxes done right, on time, and with the maximum refund, and you can drive your new vehicle today and pay for it when you get your tax return back from Uncle Sam. So call now to get the max for your taxes at Gateway Motors in Sayersville. 349-CARS. The audit of the McGoffin County Fiscal Court was released earlier this morning. It's my understanding that the audit is done in-house by the state auditor, I believe, every 4 years. The other years in between, it is done by a CPA or an accounting firm that is hired on behalf of the state. That will be the case this year. In the audit that was released, several pages. We'll go over the condensed version that we have here in brief tonight. Overall, there were 8 findings or issues discovered therein. 6 of those were actually called repeats from the year prior, and there's also a response from the McGoffin County Judge Executive to all. Most of those responses being recommendation accepted or will abide by recommendation. But here's what the audit found in regards to issues that the fiscal court has financially and otherwise. The audit released today was for the fiscal year that ended June the 30th of 2016. Several comments were made. First one being that the county did not maintain capital asset schedules in accordance with regulatory requirements, saying the fiscal court did not maintain a complete set and accurate capital asset schedule, a repeat finding from the previous audit, and the fiscal court is not in compliance with the requirements of the Department of Local Government, and fixed asset information in the financial statements may be misstated. The response on that was recommendation accepted, the response given by McGoffin County Judge Executive Charles Hardin. The second comment was that the county's administrative code does not address commuting mileage or the personal use of a county vehicle, saying that fiscal court employees' personal use of a vehicle or other asset owned by the fiscal court is not being reported as compensation to the employees. Also a repeat finding from the prior audit. Historically, it says the fiscal court has not maintained the appropriate documentation nor complied with that code, specifically of the Internal Revenue Service. The response was from the judge executive, will address with the fiscal court. The next comment was that the fiscal court did not prepare a schedule of expenditures of federal awards. Basically not a timely preparation of a schedule of expenditures for the fiscal year, and historically the fiscal court has not timely prepared a schedule of expenditures for federal awards either. Another repeat finding, saying that the fiscal court's small accounting department makes it difficult for all requirements of the accounting department to be performed timely. By not timely preparing those scheduled reports, the fiscal court creates the risk of a single audit not being performed, if needed, which could affect the fiscal court's ability to receive federal funding. The response by the judge executive was, will abide by the recommendation and improve timeliness. Next, the fiscal court, it says, lacks adequate segregation of duties over payroll, another repeat finding. It says the firm noted inadequate segregation of duties of payroll. The treasurer is responsible for maintaining timesheets, entering payroll information into the computer system to be processed, posting to the payroll ledgers, transferring funds to the revolving payroll account, administering health reimbursement and flex spending programs, preparing paychecks, preparing state and local withholding reports, and reconciling the payroll account. And by delegating all those duties to the same individual, there is a serious risk, or there is a risk of undetected fraud and errors that could occur. The county judge's executive's response was changes were made after the 2015 audit. The deputy judge reviews and signs timesheets. The finance officer posts those to the ledger, and the secretary does review the checks. This one pertains to gravel, saying the fiscal court does not have adequate internal controls over its gravel inventory, a repeat finding from the prior year. The fiscal court, it says, does not have adequate internal controls over the gravel that they buy and store at the road department. And review of the controls over the gravel revealed that the fiscal court maintains a log for gravel that's transported out to the county roads. However, the log is not updated consistently. And in addition, the log does not track the gravel that's hauled to the road department from the rock quarry. And during their procedures relating to expenditures, they noted gravel purchases for the fiscal year 2016 were $72,841. The fiscal court, they say, now this is from the auditor, saying that the fiscal court does understand the recommendation, but as of June the 30th of 2016, has not been able to implement the recommendation. The fiscal court's lack of internal controls has created an opportunity for misappropriation of the assets or gravel to occur, or for the errors in the value of the gravel inventory to remain undetected in financial statements. They said they should have appropriate controls over gravel inventory in order to prevent errors within the financial statements and also protect the fiscal court against theft of the gravel. County Judge Executive's response was recommendation accepted. We've still got a few more items to cover. I'll be right back with those after a brief break. Much more than diesel specialist, Black Smoke Performance is turning out excellent auto body collision paint and repair results with free quotes and estimates on everything from insurance jobs to that ding you got in the driveway. Custom lift kits, bed liners, winches, and accessories, and full diagnostics and repair on anything gas or diesel, from brakes to fluid changes to major auto repair. If you want it fixed, lifted, painted, customized, or just maintained, just call on the team at Black Smoke Performance in Dixie of Sagersville, 100 May Drive, or 349-8785. Now back to coverage of today's release of the Magafa County Fiscal Audit for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2016. The next comment section centers around flexible spending accounts, saying that the fiscal court does not have adequate controls over health reimbursement accounts and flexible spending accounts. The auditor saying this is a repeat finding, that they do not adequately track health reimbursement account and flexible spending account contributions, and the amounts contributed to these accounts are not maintained separately from regular fiscal court funds and payroll funds and cannot be easily identified in the accounting records. And these monies do not belong to the fiscal court, and the good internal controls require that these monies be maintained and tracked separately in the accounting system. The auditor says that the fiscal court understands the recommendation, but as of June the 30th of 2016 has not been able to implement the recommendation. It also notes that during the fiscal year of 2017, the fiscal court opened a separate bank account in order to track and identify health reimbursement and flexible spending accounts for all employees who participate in the program, and that failure to track those accounts separately increases the risk that the monies could be misappropriated. The county judge executive's response was that a new bank account was opened for the flex spending account, as we said would be after the June 30th, 2013 audit. Next, notes receivable. The fiscal court does not have adequate controls over notes receivable, and a repeat finding here as well. The auditor says that in August 2008, the fiscal court loaned money to the Magafa County Water District, $20,000 for a water project, and the water district has not made any payments to date, and the entire amount is still outstanding. And in September of 2011, the fiscal court loaned $50,000 to the Magafa County Water District, who then loaned that money to the Sagersville Water District for water projects. And the fiscal court minutes indicate this was a loan, but that it has not been repaid. The judge executive's response was that with respect to the $50,000 given to the city of Sagersville, the fiscal court will review the terms of the loan. The loan to the Magafa County Water District has been forgiven. Next, the audit says the fiscal court does not have adequate oversight of monthly reconciliation processes. The finding also included in the year prior financial statements. The finance officer's appropriation ledger is not reconciled on a monthly basis. Historically, reconciliation has not been performed, and the Department of Local Government Manual requires that the finance officer's appropriation ledger is reconciled on a monthly basis with the treasurer's information. The judge's response was recommendation accepted. And lastly, the audit says the fiscal court did not consistently utilize the purchase order system, saying that in accordance with the Department of Local Government's guidelines, purchases for certain services such as election expenses, pest control, landscaping, and routine maintenance did not have purchase orders as they are required to do so. The response was recommendation accepted. You can find the complete audit report on the auditor's website as well for the Auditor of Public Accounts for Kentucky, Mike Harmon. It is quite lengthy. We do have it here in its entirety. This is basically a press release that narrows that down into some finite specifics. We'll still be spending some more time going over the rest of the audit report and possibly have more on the subject, I suspect, later in this week's edition of the Sagersville Independent.
Hi, I'm Attorney Jeff Lovely. At my law office, we're determined to offer you and your family outstanding, cost-effective, and responsive legal services. I can help you if you've been injured in a car wreck. I'll be in your corner if you have a DUI or other criminal charges. You can file bankruptcy and stop those harassing phone calls, or I'll fight for you and your children in divorce and custody cases. For all your legal services, contact me when it matters. In Sayersville at 349-4522 and West Liberty at 743-1965.
You asked for it, and Appalachian Wireless listened. Appalachian Wireless proudly brings to you the plan you've all been asking for. Unlimited data. Unlimited data is only $80 a month for a single line, or get 4 lines as low as $200. See store for more details. Better service, bigger savings. That's today's Appalachian Wireless, an East Kentucky network company. Data speed slow to 25 gigabytes per line to 512 kilobits for phones and tablets, and 15 gigabytes for modems. See store for more details.
Yes, Logan makes the best truck bodies on the market, and they also have a fully stocked warehouse of dump body parts, PTOs, hydraulic pumps, hoists, anything you need to get back on the road. And they are a full-service steel and aluminum service center. They keep I-beam, channel, angle, pipe, round rod, rebar, expanded metal, sheet metal, and aluminum all in stock. And if you've got a big project, they do commercial manufacturing to your specs. Logan, since 1904. Win her heart this Valentine's Day with something beautiful to wear or with any of the thousands of unique ways to say I love you at the seasonal shop. Candies, charms, jewelry, or indulge her in natural, chemical-free luxury. Earth Lux. 100% pure virgin coconut oil naturally formulated in India. Scrubs, conditioners, lip maintenance, shampoos, toothpaste, soaps, bath bombs, and more. The best way to say I love you and happy Valentine's Day to anyone is by doing it at the seasonal shop. This was the scene of a structure fire here in Sagersville not once but at least twice this morning in the Mason Creek area on Route 7. The initial fire was this morning, I believe, sometime around 6 o'clock or so. This was a few hours later. Fire departments had already cleared the scene, and the house was still standing, but completely destroyed for the most part. The fire had already burned through the roof. I know that the homeowners were home. Chris and Janice Downey are the residents, and they were uninjured as far as I understand. This was a picture of the house taken when I realized the fire had taken place and everyone had cleared the scene. You can see the damage there if you look at the upper portion of the structure. And then this was the scene a couple of hours after that. Later in the morning, fire departments were called once again back to the structure as a hot spot had rekindled. You can see the smoke coming from the left portion of the house. The District 3 Fire Department responded to the fire. They called for mutual aid, which was received from the Sagersville Fire Department. I believe also another responding department as well. I believe that to be South McGoffin. Yes, so actually one of their trucks is there in the driveway. As for the cause, I still haven't spoke directly to any firemen as of yet. Ran a little short on time today. I do have a few statements from Fire Chief Paul Howard that I've just received saying that this fire was believed to have started possibly, it was still being under investigation, but residents stated that there was a candle that had turned over possibly. Nevertheless, heavy fire, smoke, water damage, the home basically destroyed, and the home actually, for the second time, the scene of a fire. Fire broke out under the stairwell several years ago and caused extensive damage to the structure then as well, but this time I believe it will be beyond repair. I'll gather some more details as I have time to speak to local firemen and have a report on tomorrow's program. With your understanding and my apologies, I want to mention that I do have some birthdays. I've got some calendar announcements. I've got a lot of other things that I'm just not going to have time for this evening, with my apologies. We will get to those tomorrow and some other news and information. I also want to make mention that, well, I'll tell you more about that in a second, but we've got a great deal of news to try to work in for the rest of this week. I'll get to that in just a moment. Let me right now switch on over to your Licking Valley RECC-powered forecast. And from your National Weather Service, we find showers. I see showers right now in the monitors here outside the newsroom in downtown Sagersville, and we're going to see maybe a half an inch of rain tonight. We're going to see breezy conditions continue. They've been blustering about this afternoon, anywhere from 11 to 24 mile per hour gusts out of the south tonight, with isolated showers up until about 8 o'clock in the morning. And otherwise, some winds will continue to blow thereafter, and they're going to blow temperatures right down. That low of 41 tonight will only fall down to 39 tomorrow evening. Yep, with winds again, 13, 15, maybe 25 mile per hour gusts at times for your Tuesday. Winds should start to calm down by late tomorrow night. I think we'll still have a light wind out of the south or so through much of tomorrow evening. And then we'll start to calm down. We're going to cool down first. 37, 25, maybe a few flurries flying about scattered fashion on Wednesday morning. Mostly cloudy and just cold for the mid-20s on Wednesday night. And then we start to climb out of that hole to the tune of 46 and sunny on your Thursday, sunny and 58 on your Friday. You will notice a 20% chance of some showers late Friday night. That's really super late, so we'll just push those off over into Saturday's forecast. I got a 40% chance of showers under mostly cloudy skies on your Saturday, and then showers likely Saturday evening and Saturday night, and maybe even a wet finish to your weekend as well. Partly sunny and a 40% chance of showers on your Sunday, but temperatures are going to stay into the 40s on Sunday, upper 40s, low 40s by the 1st of next week. And that's going to wrap it up for tonight, with the exception of saying this. I'm on the way out the door to catch some freshman and JV basketball tonight. No varsity game for the boys. I've got some highlights, man. It was a wild one. Ejections, technicals, flying everywhere Saturday night as the Hornets were hosted by Johnson Central. We've got some other news that came out of or in between the game as well. Be sure and join us for those highlights and other news and information. We have a camera at tonight's Sagersville City Council meeting and cameras at some other area governmental meetings tonight and this week as well. So we're going to hopefully just continue to hit the ground running in our first full week at our brand new location here, of course, with Your News Today and the Sagersville Independent. Good night. Thanks for watching. See you back here tomorrow.